Miss Astor, by 1925, Douglas Fairbanks Sr. was considered one of the great silent stars of his day, certainly on a par with Charles Chaplin and Mary Pickford. How did you feel at this early point in your career about working with this legend when you were selected for the female lead in Don Q, Son of Zorro?
Well, I was pretty young, and I was still a fan of all these wonderful people. Wasn't part of the business yet, although I'd been making movies for about 4 years. Just seeing these wonderful people was like a kid in this, oh, give me your autograph sort of thing. I was just overwhelmed by it, and shy, terribly shy. But of course I had fun because the people on the show were so nice. Warner Oland and all our man out here, Gene Hirschholt and Donald Crisp, they were all very gentle and teased me nicely and made me feel at home. And Mary was there all the time. So I soon got to, so I liked it.
Mr. Fairbanks was justly famous for his athletic prowess.
Indeed.
How did he handle his athletic scenes in Don Q?
Well, for one thing, he practiced from dawn till dark. I had a dressing room over the set at the studio there, and he was out in a sort of courtyard in front of the set, and I'd hear the crack of that whip. It was a bull whip in this particular picture, and he was practicing with Snowy Baker, and you'd hear that crack going on and on and on. He never stopped, and he was a perfectionist. He didn't want people to double. He didn't want to do it himself. And they would fool around with long takes of where the bullwhip had to, say, be snaked into a fireplace and get lighted so he could pull it back and light a cigarette with the end of it. And we'd take 2 hours over a thing like that.
Were there any mishaps on the set? Did anyone get hurt?
Well, no, he was very careful. But there was one scene where he was supposed to come up behind me, sort of on the top of a wall, and I was posing for a sculpture in a Greek costume. And he was sneaking up on me, sort of wanting to say boo. So the thing was, he would crack the whip, and it was circling around my shoulders very gently. So I'd say, oh, one of those things. And we did it. They said, W, of course. And of course, by then I wanted to show off for my star. And I said, oh, no, I'll do it. Let me do it. And Fairbanks said, well, that would be wonderful. We'll do it with both of us in the scene then. And so we did. We did it twice, and it was fine. And then I heard the crack, and I knew it was too soon. It went around my neck. Well, of course, the place erupted. Doctors, nurses, people grabbing at my neck, thinking, wasn't hurt. It left a little red spot or something. Oh, they said, do you want to quit for the rest of the day? So much fuss was made about it. And after that, they said, no more. Doubles after this.
The script of Don Q actually required a Spanish girl with straight black hair.
Yes.
You, at the time, were a delicate beauty with curly hair.
Red hair.
Curly red hair. How was this problem solved?
Well, of course, we tried everything. We tried, water and combing it hard out. It would just curl up. It was much curlier than it is now. And we were all at lunch one day in Doug's dining room. Mary and all sorts of people around the studio, about 10 people. And Eleanor Glynn, I don't know whether people remember her. She wrote 3 weeks, and she was a very firm person with tall, beautiful red hair, built up high, and she was a very austere person. And she said, I'll tell you how this girl should look. And she said, bring me a comb and some butter. I was sitting over, just sort of embarrassed, and I had long hair at the time. So she took it and combed it all out, all forward, right into my food, and then started taking this soft butter, put it all over her head, and rubbed it all through my hair till it was gooey with it. And then she combed it back straight, parted it in the middle, demanded a comb, and stuck it in the back of my hair, and there she was. Says, that's the way Dolores should look. Well, that's the way I looked, but of course we did use something besides butter. We didn't have hairsprays and things like that in those things. I don't know what we used, but it worked beautifully. It was a nice, smelly mess.